Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society mini episode edition. This is the second episode of the mini series, and we're gonna keep going as long as we possibly can with this mini series. We do mini episodes on Mondays and Thursdays, and long episodes on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, all at 8 a.m. in the morning. So join us, press subscribe if you haven't already so you can keep up with our videos and maybe the notification bell. Maybe give us a like. However much you like us, or why am I saying us? Because I mean like me and the two cats that are laying in front of me right now. However much you like us is how much you can interact, you know? So also, I'd love to hear any of your thoughts at the end of the video on what you thought about any of the stories. I love to talk to you guys and chat with you guys, or just anything, any updates you guys have. This is a mini episode, so we're gonna get right into this episode. And the basis, the theme of this episode is sweet revenge. Okay, so we have some revenge stories here, and we're gonna get started with the first one. I'm like out of motherfucking breath right now, but anyways, I love you guys. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Let's get into the first episode of this mini episode. The first story of this mini episode. Okay. The title is I Rejected a Popular Guy Who Hit on Me as a Joke. I was the weird goth girl in high school. I own it. It doesn't bother me at all. Honestly, I see why I was a target for this. LOL. So, sophomore year of high school, I get a text from a guy. How he got my number is still a mystery to me, but it gives me the ick. Who was a football player and therefore pretty popular by default. He was very much sliding into my DMs, as we would call it now, but this was 2007, so we still flirted via text. LOL. He started off by making me guess who he was, which was super weird and an instant red flag. After a lot of back and forth, him being all flirty, he finally told me. I was like, what the F? Because I hadn't said 2 words to this guy since the 7th grade. Total cold call. But then he starts just your general, oh, I think you're really cute, etc. Then, after a polite but not very assertive decline, the messages start to get more graphic. Thankfully, I was spared any dick pics. He drops the bomb that we should hook up, and he keeps trying to entice me into coming over. Now, I was your typical goth kid who was very anti-conformist, admittedly to a cringy degree, which included wanting nothing to do with jocks. I got super pissed that he was hitting on me at all, especially since he was being super gross about it. So temper got the best of me, and basically I tore him a new one and said things like, "You're gross, why would I want anything to do with you?" Just generally started roasting the hell out of him for something along the lines of being an unoriginal, pathetic jock who was going to peak in high school. He did not take this well. Not because he actually liked me and was hurt, but because apparently this was all meant to be a joke where the texts would have been spread around the school to embarrass me. He allegedly had multiple friends over that were in on it at this time. They were trying to lure me over to his house to collectively laugh at me. As a couple of commenters pointed out, there may have been more nefarious plans and could have ended up R-worded for all I know if I had gone over. If you'd know them, you'd agree these guys were the type. Basically, his plan backfired in the worst possible way. To make matters worse for him, his friends started laughing at him and then leaked the texts, saying he was clearly a loser because he just got rejected by the school weirdo. This was perpetuated even further by my friends because they were so mad at what he was trying to do to me. They spread that shit to anyone who would listen. As you can see, in the end, the revenge was done unintentionally on my end, and then continued by his own friends, plus mine, from there on out. Seriously, I don't know how you recover from getting rejected by high school me. Rip your reputation, my guy. Thanks for reading. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Edit, to anyone who thinks I'm toxic because of my reaction, I will make it clear that I did tell him multiple times before it got graphic that I don't do the dating thing while in high school, which was 100% true. The gross texts were just my breaking point because he crossed a boundary I had made clear and was being disrespected. Even if he had genuinely liked me, thank you and good night. Edit 2. People have been asking if he actually did peak in high school. I don't know much about what's going on in his life because his Facebook is private. I can tell you he's 32 with a massive receding hairline and really let himself go. LOL. I love that. I am dead. And why does that, like, part of that felt like this Cinderella story with Chad Michael Murray and Hillary Duff, like when he's like, or when she's like, you need to guess, like, Or what? They're like messaging. Oh, they're messaging on like fucking AIM or something. IM, instant message, which I miss so much. And he they're like trying to guess. She's trying to guess. They're trying to guess who each other are, I think. And then finally like they meet up or whatever, and then he still can't tell who she is when she literally only has something over her eyes. But I guess the whole point of that was like he doesn't notice her in school when they're literally right in front of each other, and at the diner, like when he literally sees her, it's like, if this were real life, you would know who the fuck that was. Like, you're telling me you really didn't know her just because she had a tiny eye mask around her eyes? Crazy. But anyways, let's read a couple of the comments on this. LOL, I love this. When I was in high school, I was new to the area and kind of just stayed in my own lane. I had a popular jock guy flash his member at me in the hall, surrounded by a bunch of his friends, and asked me what I thought about it. I told him not to worry, it would get bigger when he hit puberty. Yeah, he was super unhappy with that. I'm like thankful that there were limited guys that I would have suspected in my high school that would have been like yeah, I had a lot of jock guys and I was friends with them. I still am friends with a lot of them. But like they weren't the type of guys where I'd be like, "Oh yeah, they definitely would R-word me." Like I would never think that about them, so I'm very grateful. But there were a few that I definitely would be like, "Ugh," and actually one of them did end up getting charged for sexual assault. I think a few counts of sexual assault, like by a few different girls. But he transferred to our school when he was like a senior in high school or junior in high school or something. So it's not like he grew up in my town. He like transferred there. And I think it was actually because in his last town that he lived in, he also essayed a few girls and he like had to move. But he was like a popular guy, but he was like not cute at all. But he was a wrestler. And girl, like one of the prettiest girls in my opinion in our school dated him, which God knows why. I would have never even thought about it. He was gross to me, and I could just tell that he gave off that vibe. But I'm thankful that I didn't have like a lot of guys that were like obviously would have done something bad to a girl, you know? I don't know. They definitely weren't like the nicest guys in the world, but they were like at least respectful, other than like they were class clowns and trying to like always be like make people laugh even if it were at the expense of other people, you know, like those kind of guys. But I'm still really good friends with them to this day. And even me, like even I being friends with them, they still, one of them would like kind of sometimes treat me like shit, and I'd be like, are you good? Are we friends or not? Because I'm confused. Like he would just do that to like even his friends in the way that he treated them. But I also think he had little man syndrome. Um so yeah, I can kind of understand, but yeah. Cuz he would always be like making fun of people, and I'd be like, including like his friends, and like I'd be okay, I'm a little confused, but okay. All right. Some of the other comments. This sounds like straight out of a movie, but as someone who went to high school around the 2010s and was also a goth, it is also not unrealistic. Haha. Good for you, OP. This isn't toxic at all. You just knew what you wanted and he wasn't it. OP said, honestly, I was kind of scared to post it because it does sound like something out of a 2000s coming of age movie, but I guess those movies have to be based on some nugget of truth. Oh well. Yeah, definitely. And also, I remember like being younger and like when older guys would hit on me or ask me to like hang out, I always thought that they were joking, because I was like, why would these like popular older guys want to hang out with me? But I also was super young, so honestly, it was probably just because they were like weird pedophiles, because I'm pretty sure at like they were like 19 and I would be like 14, and I just thought that they were so cool. So, you know, when you're like younger and you don't realize that that's actually like really messed up, that like these guys should not be wanting to hang out with you because you're a literal preteen and they're graduated from high school. It's really scary. But there were a lot of guys like that in my school, like 4 years older than me. I think I was maybe a freshman when they were seniors. No, I actually was in 8th grade when these people were seniors. And then they were graduated and I like went into freshman year. And those guys in that group were like, in that grade were so bad, like so bad. They're still like so icky and gross, but um yeah, not actually friends with any of those guys anymore. Okay, next story. I want to destroy his life for cheating. In July, my ex-fiance announced he wanted a break to focus on himself. I was sad, but tried being understanding while he stayed at his friend's house most nights the next couple of weeks. He left a random mess next to his gym bag, clothes, papers, miscellaneous items. I started cleaning it I started cleaning it up when I noticed a paper with handwriting on it. It was a love note from some random girl. At the end of the note said, "Heart Maddie." So I posted a picture with the note in my ex in a Facebook group that exposes cheaters. His family, coworkers, friends, and mystery woman all saw and commented about how shitty he is. It turns out she is a coworker he met at a job he started a couple of months before. Never mentioned me. I told the other girl literally about all of his shortcomings, how he love bombs the first few months and then it all stops, how he finishes in 2 strokes but doesn't care if you come, how over half his checks go toward his truck and he won't help with rent because the rest of his money goes towards his dirt bike. We both ended up dumping his ass. She's a young party girl who is popular and ends up talking lots of shit about him to all his coworkers. This even travels to his last workplace where he was a supervisor. People at his parents' church tell them they're disappointed in him. For a guy who really tries hard at looking good, this has hurt his ego, but I still feel like he deserves worse. So, we're at the end of October. I had moved out on my own and minding my own business. He texted me a sad sounding message and mentioned filing bankruptcy, trying to get sympathy or someone to talk to. I ignored his message and had sex with someone else for the first time. I hate being mean, but I am good at it when someone hurts me. I recorded a video of me flushing the ring down the toilet. I messaged my ex back with the video, telling him I'm effing someone else and a sexy selfie. When we first broke up, I was 160 pounds. I wanted him to see my new 125-pound body and got a significant pay raise, so I'm feeling confident. He was obviously upset, but I feel like he brought it all on himself. As far as I know, he's miserable right now. He's still binge watching 7 episodes a night of the same show. He finished at NCIS series from beginning to finish since I moved out, lol. I feel like I have my revenge. I hope he never cheats on someone else again with this lesson. Honestly, I was so trusting, and I feel like it doesn't compare to the pain I felt from the betrayal. First of all, I think you just put revenge on yourself because why did you flush the ring down the toilet and not pawn it off to a pawn shop? I would have pawned it off to a pawn shop and sent him the receipt and been like, thank you for the money. And then sending him a sexy selfie, girl, he does not deserve that. Post it on your Instagram. Like, don't send it to him. Ew, I don't know how much of actual revenge this was, girl. Like, I feel like this is just kind of showing him that you care a little too much. It's like you told him you're effing someone else, and then just don't even. The best revenge is like no revenge, just doing things for yourself, not for him, not to get revenge on him. And then you feel confident, girl, post it on your Instagram story. Girl, post you with a new guy or something. I don't know. Don't send it directly to him. Like, that's my number one advice would be that just shows that you care a little too much, and you want them to think that you don't care. Even if you do care, like, girl, don't care. What? That's not what I meant to say. I don't care if you care because I feel like it's normal to care, but don't show him that you care. Okay, someone said, should have sold the ring and used the money to go on vacation. This guy sounds like someone who would buy a cheap ring. That's true. But still, anything you can get from that ring is better than flushing it down the toilet. Someone said, I'm glad you got your revenge. Your ex is a terrible person. Now it's time to stop focusing on your ex and focus on yourself. Don't give him attention. Ghost him when he text messages you. Pretend like he doesn't exist when you see him in person. Sometimes being ignored hurts worse than being yelled at. It's now your time. Do what's best for you and find your happiness. It's so true. Being ignored hurts so much more. Like, when they're not talking to you and you're just like, damn, they actually don't give a fuck about me. They actually don't think about me at all. That's when it hurts the worst. When it's like they're messaging you, even if they're messaging you like terrible things and calling you names and stuff, you're still like, huh, they're so bothered, you know? You're like, wow, they're so bothered by me. Like, they're really letting me affect their day. And you're like, damn, they care. Like, they're letting me get under their skin. So I feel like the best thing is not just ignoring and acting like they don't even exist and unfollowing, goodbye, just actually forgetting that they exist. Like, they no longer exist in your mind. Goodbye. That's the best revenge to me, honestly, because I feel like if I would have done that, like with my ex, it would have been so, I don't know. I'm not saying she's embarrassing, because obviously if that really made her feel better, girl, more power to you. But I just feel like I would have been embarrassed if I put all that effort in to get revenge on him. And that just shows that I like am still bothered and still want him to like know what I'm doing and stuff. And I would never want him to think that. I would want him to just think that I totally forgot about him and been like, better without you. Bye. See ya. Okay. This is the next story. This is a shorter one, but still. I made my ex believe that I was dead. That's a crazy title. Like, I don't know if this is really revenge or if this is like kind of fucked up, but we'll see. 6 months ago, he left me for his ex that he reassured me was abusive and he had no feelings for. No apology, no explanation. Just blocked me on everything and I never heard from him again. He lied about everything and I only found out by chance. It was heartbreaking. I almost ended my life the day I found out. Every day since, I just wanted him to know how much pain his actions could cause. I figured if he knew, then he wouldn't act that way. But instead of harassing him or begging him, I left it alone for 6 months, fell into a deep depression, and moved on with my life as best as I could. But I decided that if I ever did reach out, I would tell him that I died, make him regret treating me like shit and throwing me away for all of those months. Well, yesterday I get a long apology text from him about how he mistreated me. I see I'm unblocked everywhere. I responded to him as my sister and said that my family had been trying to contact him. I told him OP passed away and left a note with his name, listing things she wanted to leave for him. He seemed in shock. I told him I could mail the stuff to him if he wanted it. He gave me his address and I'm mailing it to him tomorrow. He will never find out. We have 0 mutual friends. I never use social media, and our city is so big that we will never run into each other. I hope he feels like shit. I hope this taught him to never again treat someone that disposable. He treated me like I was already dead to him. So, I just made it reality. See, I still don't think that is revenge. I don't think that's revenge. Like, you died? What? No, you would want him to think that you're living the best time of your life. I would activate a so that he could see how amazing of a life that I'm living. Like, girl, get yourself, I'm not saying it's super easy to get yourself out of a depression, but get yourself out. Get yourself out. Go work on yourself. Like, go to therapy. Go write in your journal. Go to the park. Go romanticize your life. Like, do anything you possibly can to be happier again. And live your best life. You don't need to make up a See, I don't think these are revenge stories. I don't know. Maybe you guys will feel differently, but I don't feel like these are revenge stories. But I did. That reminded me because I got a long text from my ex like years ago. But this was like my ex in motherfucking high school, which was crazy to me because I dated him in 2013, and he texted me 2020, which was crazy because I was like 2013, it's been 7 years. I dated you for literally like 6 months, less than 6 months. And I'm going to read it because I still have it on Snapchat. I saved it on Snapchat just because I thought it was so funny, but I don't have my responses to him, which is annoying. I actually think I remember what I said to him, but I'll read it. He said, "Hey, I know this is random and you probably don't care, but I just want to say I'm sorry for how I treated you in the past. I was immature and selfish and I shouldn't have been like that. I know I can't take back any of the terrible and idiotic things I did to anyone, but I wanted to reach out and apologize. That doesn't make up for any of it, but hopefully you can find some way to forgive me. Hope you're doing well, Jamie. No, I literally died because this guy, he was actually the most toxic gaslighter ever, but I was so young that I didn't notice it. Like, I didn't notice that he was actually just a shitty ass person. And I think I told this story about how I lost my virginity to him even though I didn't want to. Like, I had a purity ring up until this point, and I was like, no, I'm not, like, I'm going to save myself. And then, like, he heavily convinced me. So I did. He heavily convinced me, first of all, by saying I love you. Like, he told me that he loved me. Of course, I'm 13 years old. Like, I'm gonna believe that. And then I'm like, oh my God, I love you too. So then, like, a couple days later, I think we were celebrating like our 1 month anniversary, which is so embarrassing. And then I lost my virginity to him. He was 2 years older than me. So he was a senior and I was a sophomore in high school. And then like 2 days later, he's like, I actually didn't mean it when I said that I loved you. And I was like, wait, what? And then he also like cheated on me with like multiple girls, and then randomly the way he broke up with me, well, actually also he was supposed to go to, I think it was prom, and he was supposed to ask me to prom because we were literally dating, but instead he just didn't go to prom. He just went to the after parties and like partied with his friends and didn't invite me to any of them. Like, what? Okay, cool. And it was crazy because I was like really excited to be able to go to prom as like a sophomore. I thought that would be so cool. And then yeah, he also cheated on me with multiple girls. And then after that, one of my best friends, which she was my best friend, but she was super, super toxic, and I always knew that. We were on and off friends, and I was like, she ruined my life in like 8th grade, and then we started becoming friends again after that. But they had sex like a few months after we broke up, I think, like 6 months after we broke up, which I didn't really give a shit, honestly. But yeah, and I did end up hooking up with him like a year after we broke up, which is so embarrassing of me, but I still wasn't over him. It took me so long to get over him, but then once I was over him, I was like, ew, what the hell was wrong with me? But I just thought that was so funny, and I responded to that message, and I was like, girl, it's been 7 years. Trust, I actually do not care at all. And he was like, it's fine. I know. Like, I don't care either. I just wanted to make sure you knew that I was sorry. I'm like, okay, you're embarrassing. I mean, it's literally 2024. Like, we dated 11 years ago. And obviously that message was 4 years ago, which is so long ago, but it's so funny because I think about that. I'm like, damn, they really always do come back, because he messaged me prior to that too, I think in 2016 when I was off in college in Florida. Like, he's in Iowa. It's been 3 years since we dated. I'm like, don't care about you, don't think about you at all. I was in a new relationship. Like, I literally didn't care. And he still messaged me saying like, why do you hate me? I don't even know. I have the messages still from that time too, because I just love to think about it, how it's like that always happens. It's like I literally am doing way better with my life and you're just a loser. Sorry. And you treat every woman like shit, and you did the same thing to every woman. And after we broke up, he started dating someone a year younger than me, which means I was like 15 turning 16 when I started dating him, and he was like 18. And then after we broke up, he started dating someone younger than me, so like 14 or 15, and he was 18, which is weird to me. Like, that's so weird. She was a freshman and he was a senior in high school. I was like, that's weird of you. That's really weird of you. Okay, anyways, let's read a couple of these comments. Someone said, and if you ever do run into him, pretend like you don't know him and give him a different name. Yeah, someone else told me I look like her too, but I'm from a different town and I'm married with 3 kids. How evil. I love it. I bet he unblocked you because his relationship fell through. You're his fallback person. At first, I thought you shouldn't have done it, but after thinking about it, now I think he totally deserves it. Oh yeah, they're over. He said it in the apology text. Of course. This also ensures he won't be trying to track you down. There's no reason to do a deep dive to find you. Just watch out for him using your death to make people feel sorry for him. Make sure your sister calls his ass out if he does. No, this is funny, but also I just think that this is so not like, I just don't think that this is revenge. Like, this is definitely something I would have done in like, I would have done this in high school for sure. As like a sophomore or a junior, I would have been like, I'm literally in the hospital. Like, you know, when you were younger and you broke up with someone and you wanted to like be in the hospital. Am I crazy, or is this like an experience that anyone else had? Because I would be like, I just wish I were in the hospital so then I could see if they cared about me. I don't know. I was a teenager, crazy bitch. So that's literally how I was thinking. Like, after that relationship ended, I was heartbroken for like a year and a half after that. And I was just like, I always just wished that I was like in the hospital for something so that he would come visit me. Like, that's so embarrassing. Ew, stop. Why? Girl, move on with your life. And I did. It's fine. But it's just so funny to me. Like, that's hilarious. I would never now, in this day and age, as like a woman who has a developed brain, no, I would live my best life. I would focus on myself so hard that I couldn't focus any harder, you know? Like, I would literally be going so crazy if I was going through a breakup right now. I'd be like going, making as many friends as possible, like doing stuff every night, working out every day, working so hard, like going to therapy all the time, writing in my journal, meditating. That's the kind of shit that I did when me and my boyfriend broke up, because like the last time a couple years ago, because that's just how I felt. I was just like, the best thing I can do is just be the happiest version of myself, like work towards being the happiest version of myself. And that's the best kind of revenge that you can get. Because if you just focus on yourself and you just cut like goodbye, obviously I literally thought about him every day, like 24/7. There wasn't a time where like he wasn't on my brain. But if you just move on and you try to move on as much as possible, then you either move on and you don't care about them anymore, or if they do end up coming back, if it wasn't a toxic relationship, which is my case, or they end up coming back and then you're like, oh, nice. But if you like, I never think you should beg for someone back, because I just think that you should channel that kind of energy into yourself and try to be like the best version of yourself and just focus on yourself so much, because there's just no need. It's just not necessary to be focusing on someone else when you can channel that energy into yourself, and then you're really going to be so happy. And although it might take forever, I don't even know how long it would have taken for me to get over my boyfriend if we hadn't gone back together, because truly, like, I genuinely think he's like the love of my life. So I feel like I would have been single for so many years, because I would never, it would have been taken so long for me to get over it, number one, and then second of all, find someone that's like equally as good as him. So I don't know, but thank God I don't have to know about that. I actually didn't really care about any relationships at that time, though. I was just like having fun being by myself at that time. Okay, well, I think that is the end of this mini episode, because those are all the stories that I gathered for this episode. Let me know if you guys can think of any theme that you want me to do in the future, or if you guys have any like, yeah, just let me know if you think I should do any different themes. I'll probably do revenge stories again in the near future, but let me know if you guys have any different themes that you think I should do. Like, I don't even know, cheating stories. I don't know what other kind of stories there are, but let me know if you have any requests. I will be totally all open ears. And because I got one comment that said you should do revenge stories, and here I am doing them. So let me know. I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you guys have the best Monday ever. Let me know what you thought about the stories, or just anything that's on your mind right now. I love you guys, and I hope you guys have the best day ever. I'll see you in tomorrow's episode. Mwah. Bye.